All right, so today's my question is, what's your favorite subject?
I'm Mike One. So, my favorite subject, art.
I'm gonna have to go with history.
Science.
But don't you teach don't you teach history?
Yeah.
Any specific type of science?
Astrophysics. Don't ask me about it though. I should take that back because I don't even know what astrophysics are.
I know nothing.
I just listened to a lot of Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and now I am like obsessed with theoretical physics and space and wormholes and
You believe in the Big Bang?
The
That's
Big
tough.
Bang is such a weird concept. Like, I guess I have to. Like, I have to believe in the Big Bang because that's what the scientists say. Because I've had this question, like, since, forever. You're talking to friends, like, what is the universe? It just is, right? Like, how could it have started? I don't understand how it could have started. That just seems like such a weird concept.
Isn't that the beauty of it, though? We'll never know until our time ends.
It's annoying. I guess so.
It gives you the free choice to make in life.
Yeah, the mystery's kind of fun about it.
You can always look for your own truth.
That's true.
Yeah, but we're kind of getting off topic
Yeah.
anyway.
I'm making this into Star Talk now.
Yeah. All right, people. Hello and welcome back to the Ocoee High School Stories podcast. Today I'm here with
Zach?
Leo?
and our special guest today.
Mr. Wilkerson, Thomas Wilkerson.
All right, so this is my teacher interview, and I wanted to do this interview because Mr. Wilkerson was one of my favorite teachers during my sophomore year. So, for the first question, what do you teach?
I teach U.S. history and advanced placement U.S. history here at Ocoee High School.
Have you been teaching that like all your years of teaching, or?
Yeah, this is year 6 for me, and it's kind of cool that my colleagues, Mr. Gallup and Miss Dalton, are also sitting in the room because Miss Dalton is the one who took a chance on me about 6 years ago, and when I was really looking for a job, and she helped me out and she hired me. I've been here ever since, and I started out teaching 6 periods of U.S. history, and I love it.
So, like, I know you probably get this question a lot, but what's the story behind what made you want to become a teacher?
I had a good one. I had 2 really great teachers my junior year of high school, and one of them was a science teacher, Mr. Varner. He's a biology teacher, and I was bad at that class, but he never gave up on me. He was always just he never got mad at me, even though I never did anything, and he was always asking me if I needed help, and I really appreciated that. Then I had Mr. Williams, who taught history, and he was just really good at it, and I thought, this is cool. I could see myself doing that. My main goal was to be a musician, and then you learn pretty quickly that's really hard to do.
Especially today,
And
especially nowadays.
Yeah, even if you're good at it, even if you're signed to a label now, that means nothing. You don't make any money doing it. And I still do it for fun, but I was like, all right, well, what would be a cool plan B? Teaching.
When was that moment that you realized music isn't my real passion?
I guess it was senior
When you
year.
found out that it couldn't pay the bills.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a passion, but yeah, it was senior year of high school. I went to this workshop up in Boston at Berklee College of Music. My aunt was really cool to pay for me to go there for a weekend and learn about music production. And I was way over my head. Everyone was talking about programs and interfaces and stuff, and I was I thought oh, you just press record on a tape recorder. That's how you record music. And so I was like, okay, this is way over the top. And then, I play in bands now too. And there's this band that we opened for called Sheer Mag. They're really great if you're looking for new music out of Philadelphia. But they're huge. Everywhere I'm going now, they're played on the places in bars. They're playing over the speakers or stores, retail. And they came through and were like, oh yeah, let us open for this band. We want to open for them so bad. And they show up on this rickety old yellow van. Everyone smells like BO. They're eating gas station food, looking for a place to crash for the night. I'm like, this is how you are living right now? Like, I thought you'd be on a bus or something. Yeah, so there's no money in music anymore. You have to like tour and sell merch and stuff. So it's just a passion project now.
Yeah, it's like, you know, labels expect you to like already have like the clout like before you get signed, pretty much.
Yeah, well, that's what's cool. Getting off topic, but you asked me a cool question, so that's good. But you know, like SoundCloud and hip hop and stuff, like that's become the new DIY punk rock thing, because those guys, they just do it themselves. They record everything, they promote themselves, and they do it all without a label or promoters, and they're huge. And I think that's so cool that you can make money off of music, but it's a hustle. And now, like, the way to do it is totally on your own.
What musical instrument do you play?
I play drums right now, and I play bass and a little bit of guitar, but I don't have like one instrument. Like, I can be okay at all three of them, but I'm not like a guitar player or a drummer or anything like that.
Who were some of your musical influences growing up?
I'm obsessed with Jack White still to this day, the White Stripes, and I really love Tool, who just put out their first album in like 13 years, and Modest Mouse, which they kind of, I don't know, not a big fan anymore, but high school, that was like my soundtrack to all the feels and emotions, so they still hold that place in my heart.
It's funny you said the White Stripes. I think the only song I know, like off the top of my head by them, is Seven Nation Army.
I'm so glad that you at least know a song. It's like every year, like I said, this is only my 6th year of teaching, but every year I make references that less and less people get. I'm like, oh yeah, you guys know this movie, right? It's like this. And my students are like, what are you talking about? I've never heard of that.
Well, I'm sure every single student has heard Seven Nation Army at a sports game or something.
That's true. Yeah, it's amazing how that riff like blew up. And it's like the stadium rock riff. That's the first one I ever learned on guitar too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So like in general, like if you weren't teaching, you know, music would be your main passion, correct?
You know, I don't think I would try to go for it as a career. I just don't. It takes the fun
like,
out
what
of
if
it.
what if you like blew up tomorrow and like everything fell into place?
You know, it's weird. Like, if we got a record deal tomorrow or something, I would look at the logistics. If we could record a record in like a month or two or something, and then put it out there, and then maybe tour over the summer, like, I would try to like ask the principal, hey, can we work something out so I can like chase the stream real quick and then like come back to work. But, you know, I don't think I would give up my career for it. I don't know. It's weird. I'm not as passionate about it as I used to be. You know what I really want to do is own a food truck.
Interesting.
What kind of food truck?
It would be, I already have the name. It's going to be called Tater's Gonna Tate. It's all potatoes. Because you got to think about what you can do with a potato. Anything, right? Potato salad, potato pancakes, loaded baked potato, poutine, French fries of all shapes and sizes.
Tater tots.
Tater tots. The possibilities are limited. Hash browns. What am I forgetting?
And call your crew the Tater Totters. Anyway.
Yeah, you know, we'll try that on. See how it works.
So, getting back on topic. So, what's your favorite thing about teaching?
Favorite thing about teaching? It's like every teacher's answer, which I think is proof of how true it is. But it's the students. Like, I like teaching has like gotten me such a better perspective on life and like people's backgrounds and stuff, and like how the world works and society. And you just talk to people from all different, you know, socioeconomic backgrounds and cultural backgrounds, and just really opened my eyes to just life in general. So I really enjoy getting to know the students. Even the ones who don't really want to get to know me, I still get something out of being with them every day and
changing people's lives, pretty much.
You know, I don't like saying that because I don't feel like it's like that big of a impact. I think teaching's obviously like really important and stuff, but it is cool when you get students who come back and visit you or want, to be interviewed on their podcast. Thanks for inviting me. I think that's really cool. Yeah, that's the best part. And students are like, hey, I liked you. You were a good teacher, and I appreciate that. Because I feel like you remember those. Like I said, I named Mr. Varner and Mr. Williams. It's been over, 15 years since I was in their class, and I'll remember them forever. So I hope I kind of at least have that impact on some people.
It's funny because even though you're the teacher, it sounds like you're still learning things every day, especially about like other people. I find that pretty interesting.
It's a good way to look at it. Yeah. That's why I wanted to be a teacher, and the music thing's like half of it. The other half of it is like, I don't want to go in the real world. I don't want to be an adult and
cubicle.
Yeah. I don't want
Same
that.
thing every day.
And there's nothing wrong with people who do that, but being in school just kind of seems like an escape from all that, even on the teacher end, because like you said, like I'm still learning. In fact, I learned more about U.S. history teaching it than I did in college, It's college, you'll take a class on just the Civil War, like one battle of the Civil War, and I'll know a lot about that one battle, but, I won't know the whole picture, and teaching kind of forced me to like really dive even deeper into the subject. So I'm learning about people, I'm learning about the subject. It's all learning.
Funny enough, it took me like the whole school year to realize I was the only sophomore in that class.
Oh, I'm glad you said that because
I'm the only one who's still here. All the other students graduated already.
I was shook when you came by and were like, hey, can you do this podcast? Because I was like, man, was that last year? Holy crap, it feels like forever ago. No, but that makes total sense then, that if you're a sophomore in that class, because, yeah, I could have swore it was 2 years ago, and I'm glad I'm not losing my mind. That's right. Yeah, how'd you do that? You must have gotten ahead somehow.
Yeah, I did a class online. And sped up the process. Yeah. So, what's your least favorite thing about teaching?
Least favorite thing. Teaching is like, a lot of people are talking about the same thing, and it's just, there's no like one way to teach. And students learn like so many different ways, and everyone's got their own learning style and attitudes and just the way they approach learning. And I think what a lot of people who might be on the school district or on the state level, they're trying to put like a one-size-fits-all kind of deal on it, and I just don't think it's working too well. A lot of the fun about teaching history especially is kind of left because history is such like a heavily weighted class on like schools' performance scores, so we have to like skip a lot of the lessons that used to be fun now and kind of just stick to like hard content that, yeah, I don't know. Like the lesson that got me into history was JFK's assassination. I just thought it was so fascinating, all the theories around it, and the 1960s is just an exciting time period, and there's no room for that now in the school year.
It's funny that you mentioned that because in U.S. history right now, we're literally learning about the 60s, and we just got past JFK.
Yeah.
And his assassination,
Mm-hmm.
like literally on this day today.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be getting there next week. But yeah, there's like not, you get to mention it, like, oh, by the way, JFK was killed. Anywho, moving on. But it's like, no, that's like one of the most fun lessons is how and why and what happened. But yeah, because of testing and stuff, we don't really get to into it too much now.
So like, in general, would you say that like for example, what if you got like promoted like from a teacher to like I guess like a what do you call it, like lesson like planner? Like, would you like take that role?
Would I take the role of like designing lessons and curriculum and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to. The people who do that though are usually like doctors, like people in colleges and professors, and I'm not on that level of education yet, so I probably won't ever do that. But if I did, I would, I probably wouldn't be focusing on what they'd want me to. I'd be like, yeah, let's spend a week talking about JFK's assassination.
So you had said that the curriculum kind of likes to shape you. Oh my gosh, let me redo that. So you said that the curriculum kind of like shapes how they want you to teach the stuff. Is that correct?
I mean, kind of, yeah. It's not like a total, hey, you must teach it this way. There's just a lot of like strong suggestions, and you have the freedom to, kind of do your own thing in the classroom still. But if you're doing your own thing in the classroom and it's not producing good test results,
more risky.
Then you're gonna be
like on fire.
Even strong. Not really. No, you're not gonna be fired, but you'll be like even more strongly suggested to use their tactics. So it's kind of like just a safer thing to just do their thing.
So have you had any experiences like that where a student just didn't know what was going on based off of the way you were teaching it, and you kind of had to like change up your strategy a little bit?
Yeah. That's something you got to do like every day. You get better at it as time goes on, but you can kind of see, and after the school year goes on, you kind of know who's probably not picking it up or something. That's why, like I said, people learn different ways. I try to do a video at least once a day. And by video, I mean like 2 or 3 minutes, it's like a short clip, but I'll like give some notes, be like, hey, here's what you need to know. Here's a video to help you. Let's read something. And, I try to hit that audio, visual, and kinetic learner at least every day. Some aspect of those 3 types of learning. At least that's the goal.
Interesting. So in terms of students, because you were talking about like the students are the main like drive behind why you do what you do. Mm-hmm. What's one situation with a student? What's one situation with a student that you'll like always remember?
First year is like always the hardest. Everyone says that, your first year teaching, because like you don't really know what you're doing. You're kind of just figuring it out. And I remember my first year, I was like, I'm gonna be Mr. Cool. I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna be like, hey guys, I'm a cool guy teacher. If you need to use the bathroom, just go ahead. You're adults. I'm gonna treat you like it. And like you guys all seem like very mature people, but most of them aren't. And I learned real quickly that you can't like be cool guy on your first day. Yeah. And so I had a hard time like trying to like establish that respect and authority in the classroom, and like
people were just like doing whatever.
Yeah, there's this one guy, I still remember his first name, I won't say it though, but there's this one guy who he was just trying me every day. He just tried to test the limits, and one day I like couldn't take it anymore, and I like tried to, I don't even remember what I said, but I tried to like reprimand him and get him back on task or something, and he just laughed at me and he said, dude, I cannot take you seriously. And the class got quiet. They all looked at me to see what I would do, and I froze. I had like no idea what to say. And so I just went back on with my lesson, and I'm getting red talking about it right now. I can feel it because it's so embarrassing. But I will always remember that because that was a learning experience. At least it kind of like taught me like, okay, I have to like, approach that differently now in the future.
I want to say that everybody that I know of in the teaching profession has had that exact same experience. Yes. No matter what subject, no matter what grade or anything like that, all that is happens all the time.
Oh, it's such a stinger too. That's why I remember it so bad.
So how have you learned from that experience and gotten better in that situation?
I'm giving away all my secrets, and if any student listens to this who's going to have me next year, then they'll see right through my ruse. But now, like, you got to be tough guy. Like, for, like, first month, you got to be like, all right, class, like, these are my rules, these are my procedures, and I expect this. When really, I hate that guy. Like, that guy sucks. But you have to be him just for, like, the first month, or maybe longer. But you got to get the students to be like, okay, I got to respect this dude. Then you can start being Mr. Cool. And then when you're Mr. Cool after you've been Mr. Tough Guy, people are like, oh, wow. He's being cool today. It's like, no, really, I'm cool every day. I just hide it.
I mean, this is probably just because I came into your class late, but you just seemed like you were cool right off the bat. You didn't seem like you were very, I don't want to say you didn't seem like you were very tough, but
Yeah.
like you just seemed like you were chill.
I know. Well, your situation was a little weird because we had school for like a month and a half or something.
Yeah.
And then classes got condensed, and then I got y'all's class. So I kind of felt bad for y'all. Not, just because I didn't want to switch it up on you. So I was like, okay, let me be like welcoming. But yeah, even when I try to be Mr. Tough Guy, I'm probably not coming off that at all. Very non-confrontational. I hate confrontation. Like, I haven't written up a referral that in like 2 years, I don't think, because I'm just like so chill that I think the students realize like, hey, this guy's like too chill. Let's just like be cool to him.
Would you say that situation with the student was the angriest you ever gotten at a student?
Yeah. There was one class that was like the next year who just like, this was second year. So second year is not much easier than first, but it's slightly easier. And the next year, I blew up pretty hard on this class. I just like told him straight up. I was like, I dread this period every day.
That was one of my teachers last year for my 7th period. He did like, we would never like let him actually teach. We would just keep on talking.
Yeah.
We tried. The class just could not stop talking.
Yeah. And the thing is like, I got love for those students. If I saw any of them today, I'd be like, oh, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
But when you're in it every day, you get to that point where you're just like, oh my God, like I can't hold it in anymore.
Imagine that one student that's not doing what everybody else is. They're just like a good student.
Oh, I know. And I feel bad for them too. I'm like, oh man, there's like, and I always say like, I'm not talking to all y'all, you know who I'm talking to. But yeah, I remember telling him, and it was my 4th period. Yeah. No, it was I can't remember. It's 3rd or 4th. But the planning I had before, or the period I had before was my planning. And so I remember that because I told them, I was like, guys, every day I thank God I have 3rd period planning because it gives me 50 minutes to mentally prepare for you. And they just laughed. And I was like, all right, cool. Right on. But, you get through those years. I mean, no one becomes a teacher thinking it's going to be, everyone's going to love you. And, you expect that kind of stuff. So it's okay.
So in general, like just like as a wrap-up question, how does the way you teach, what are some similarities and differences between how you teach and how your high school life was like?
And when I was in high school, I'm going to be like very old timer now, little boy day. But when I was in high school, it was all still paper and pencil, like if you got to go to the computer lab, it was like a big deal. And it happened like once a year. And so everything was textbooks, paper and pencil, listen to a lecture, do a project. But the guy who got me into teaching, Mr. Williams, who like made me really excited about history, he only lectured the entire year. That's like all he did. And he didn't have a PowerPoint. Yeah, he didn't even have a chalkboard. He would just stand in the class and tell you a story. And he was just such a good storyteller. I think that's why I enjoyed it, even though I was doing nothing but sitting there. And I don't teach like that. Like I said, I try to make it, you're doing something every day, and there's a little bit of instruction, a little bit of work, a little bit of discussion. So that kind of aspect of the little bit of instruction, the lecturing's still there, because I just think that's important for history. You learn math by doing math problems, and you learn science by doing experiments. But with history, it's all just kind of like a story. So really the only way to learn is to read it and look at it and hear about it, Yeah.
I have one question before we wrap this up. It's kind of a not really personal question, but does your perspective on like your political view kind of affect the way you teach history?
No. Absolutely not.
You can mark that if you want. You don't have to keep it in here. I just really wanted to know.
It's a fine question.
No, it's hard a lot too, especially with history. Like history is really hard not to keep political because students will ask, and they'll be like, well, what do you think about this? And especially when you're talking about government and politics, that's just a part of the class. Like it's my duty to keep my politics out of the classroom. Like I am not supposed to teach students that my politics are right and here's what you should be knowing and this is what you should believe. But when students ask me what I think, I'll tell them, I'm like, well, this is my personal opinion, and I'll always put the disclaimer, this is Thomas Wilkerson's personal opinion. It's not Mr. Wilkerson telling you to write this down and go home and believe it. And I always make the joke like, please don't get me fired today.
Mr. Wilkerson told me that we should take down the capitalist establishment, and that's all a lie. We're living in the Matrix. I say that a lot too.
Even though we are. Anyway. Don't tell nobody. Anyway. But with that being said, thank you all for watching. This has been the interview with Thomas Wilkerson. Thank you for being here. And
Thanks for having me.
I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm Theo.
I'm Zach.
Leo.
And peace out, people.
Miss every shot you don't take.
Yeah.